Hello, pretty people. Welcome to Simply Delish Duo. Today we are in Ma's kitchen and we're going to show you how to make taralli. So if you're not sure what taralli are, best way for me to describe them, they are a cross between a breadstick, a pretzel, and a bagel. Let me just hold one up for you to see.
Now, as Chica was explaining what a tarallo is, or taralli are, every region in Italy has their own version of making taralli. We are showing you a Southern Italian version, the version that we grew up on, that my nonna and my ma would always make, and we still do today.
These are so crispy and crunchy and delicious. So if you're new to our channel, check out our other videos and don't forget to subscribe.
Okay, so today for our taralli, we're going to be using 8 cups of all-purpose white flour. Now, I know 8 cups sounds like a whole bunch. It is a little bit of a bigger batch because I'm taking some home, Chica's taking some home, so we like to make a bigger batch. Now, if you want to make a smaller batch, cut the recipe in half, just use half of the ingredients. So, we have here the 8 cups of flour. We have a cup of oil. Now, we're using half a cup of extra virgin olive oil and half a cup of vegetable oil. We like to mix our oils together. We have 2 eggs and we have here a teaspoon of instant yeast.
Now you can always use the active dry yeast, but we're using instant. If you're going to be using the active, it needs to be activated first. So make sure to put it in water and let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. Activate it before adding it to your flour.
A teaspoon and a half of salt, and we have half a teaspoon of anise seeds. Now, in where my mom and dad come from, the region that they come from, my nonna would use anise seeds. You could always use fennel seeds, but we grew up using anise seeds. So
only half a teaspoon, because as we all know, anise seed is a very strong spice. So if you add more in there, it'll overpower your taralli. So we like to use about half a teaspoon for this amount, this batch.
Okay.
And water. You forgot to mention
No, I was
the
going to
water.
mention it right as soon as I was going to make a little well here. Now, what we want to do is we want to add in our dry ingredients, mix them around a bit, just so that it's all incorporated together. The seeds, the yeast, and the salt. So, mix these around just a bit. Now, as Chica said, the water.
And I'm going to create a well for this water
You
here.
go ahead. Now I'm going to talk about the water. We have here 2 cups of lukewarm water. Now, we might not use the full 2 cups, but as we're forming our dough, we will go along and we'll talk about the water. But we will for sure be using a cup and a half.
To start off with.
Absolutely. And then if we need the remainder, then we'll add it in. So Chica's made
I'm
a
just
little
mixing,
well.
I'm not yet, I'm just mixing it a little more just to incorporate all the ingredients that we've already added into the flour here. So now we should be good. My well.
I'm going to grab this plate here so I can...
Okay.
Okay. Add the eggs in that little well. And actually, Chica, do you mind just beating the eggs just for 1 second while I rinse my hands here?
And also, I'm going to start adding the oil, just a little at a time here. And we're working on a clean surface here. We're using a countertop. So any clean surface will do.
Did you want me to mix and you add?
Yeah, that's fine. We've done this so many times. Mom makes taralli, even growing up, at least...
Once a week.
Well, at least twice a month, for sure. For sure.
But lately I've noticed she's made them almost once a week and then we take them home.
Yes, yeah, she shares. Oh, there, thank you.
Yeah.
She shares with us all.
Of course.
She always calls, I made taralli today. Are you going to come pick some up? Yes, Ma. Thank you, Ma.
Yeah, my pantry's low on taralli.
She spoils us. All right. So now we've added all the flour.
Perfect.
I mean, all the oil. Okay. Now this is where it gets a little messy. So now we're going to it's like making bread. So now we're going to have to start kneading this dough here. Do you want me to do it? Or?
Yeah, you can go ahead. I'll do this. if you don't mind.
And
I'll add the water.
Add the water. I'll just create another, and a little at a time.
Yeah, we don't need
like
to
I said,
just a little bit at a time.
Just a little at a time. Now, just a little at a time while we keep, and I will continue. We'll continue this process until we're at about half a cup. And then once we reach that half a cup mark, we'll come back and let you know if we think we'll need more water.
Okay, so we've only used 1.5 cups of water, so we didn't need that extra half a cup of water. And Chica here is working at the dough a little bit longer, so you're gonna need to work at it for another few more minutes because you want a nice firm dough. Like you could tell that it's getting there. And you want a nice smooth ball of dough.
Yes.
Before we start making our taralli.
So she's putting me to work here. All right, so we finished kneading the dough and we've got it into a nice smooth ball of dough. And it's nice and pretty firm here. This is exactly what we want.
Sorry, I'm gonna reach over because, sorry, go ahead.
Now, you can go ahead here.
Okay, you want the dough to sit for about 20 minutes. So we're gonna cover it just with a little plastic bowl.
Yeah, okay. And let it go to sleep for 20 minutes.
Okay, so it's been a good 20 minutes. The dough sat for a little bit, so it's nice and firm. I'm gonna start cutting it here. Now you wanna roll like a rope size, right?
Like a size of a rope, maybe the size of your finger.
This one's a little bit thicker, so we'll give it a good roll. And you know what? We can make them any size you guys want. I prefer them a little smaller. But
and I like mine thicker.
Yeah. So it's just preference, right?
Well,
just preference. You start cutting, so we're gonna roll them. And you know what? You're just gonna form like a little donut. See, this one's a little thicker. You can make them any size. Like I said, you can make it smaller, skinnier.
Yeah. So like she says, smaller, skinnier. I like them this size, so about 6 inches long, and then the size of my
the width of your
the
finger.
width of my finger here.
Yeah.
My
index
finger.
We're gonna continue making our taralli. They're gonna sit for another 10 minutes. In the meantime, I have I put a pot of water on the stove because once these are done, we're gonna explain to you our cooking process for your taralli. Okay, we finished forming our taralli. They sat for 10 minutes, so now they're ready to be cooked. Now, I like the tarallini, the little tiny skinny guys, because they make great treats. And
if I had to pick the perfect taralli, it would be this one here.
because she likes her cafe and taralli. She loves to dip them in her coffee. You guys, this was our breakfast growing up. Now, when I did tell the grade 2 teacher, I got in trouble. So, because that's not a great breakfast.
She's like, your mom gives you coffee in the morning? Yeah, not good. But to be fair, it was 90% milk, 10% coffee. So, yeah, we can't really blame Ma because we asked for it also.
No, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you Italian children out there probably had the exact same breakfast.
Or Europeans.
Or Europeans, exactly. So we're going to meet you at the stovetop here because this is a 2-step cooking process.
Yes, so first we need to boil the taralli and then we bake them. So it's almost like a bagel where you boil and then bake. But let's head to the stovetop and we'll show you what we mean.
All right, we have our water going here and it's on a very low boil, almost like a simmering stage. So Chica's just adding the taralli in there. Now, you notice that they're gonna sink to the bottom, okay? So once they slowly float to the top, remove them because you don't want them fully cooked. They're gonna finish their cooking process once we put them in the oven. So
it honestly takes a few minutes tops, like maybe 2 minutes. And right now, like she said, we need to wait for them to float to the top.
Yeah, and slightly touch them. Chica will slightly touch them so they don't stick to the bottom. Just give them a light tap.
And did you mention the water? Not salted. So make sure your water is not salted. It's just plain tap water.
Okay, you'll notice that they're slowly this one's floated. We could remove that one. Oh, there they go. They're gonna start floating. And you guys, it's literally not even a minute and a half.
There we go.
They'll start popping up. And now Chica will remove these. We'll finish this cooking process. And then before we put them in the oven, we will explain. Okay, we boiled all of our taralli. Now really, Chica, how long did it take?
I say no longer than 15 minutes. We didn't time it, but literally 15 minutes.
It was so fast and easy, you guys. So your first step of the cooking process is done. Now you got to do the second, but before we get to that, now do you notice that we put the taralli after they were done boiling? We put them back on the tablecloth. So you're not dirtying really anything else. Just put them in there so it soaks up a bit of that water. We have here a baking sheet with some parchment paper. We're going to transfer them on here. Now you want to bake them in the oven at 375 to 380, depending on your oven, until they're a golden color.
About 20 minutes.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
Check on them after 20 minutes. If you think they need a little more, give them a few more minutes.
So we just pulled our last batch out of the oven. Now you want to bake them, this is still hot, but anyways, you want to bake them until they're a nice golden brown, a beautiful color to them. And this is the last batch. So quite a few came out of this. We've got a big bread basket full and more on the side here. Yeah, so Ma has a pot of coffee on the go. Coffee break for us, so I can dip my taralli in there.
And I've already started munching away. They are so good, so crispy, so delicious. So we hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching Simply Delish Duo.